Welcome to the Tom Bernard Family Podcast with
co-host Catherine Brandt,
Andy Brandt Bernard,
and Kristen Burt.
Kristen Burt. Entertainment news brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So if you guys don't mind, I want to start the show off today with a couple of things that I watched on TV this morning. And it really kind of, basically, I can start with, because the second one I want to talk about is very sweet, and it was a very special moment that I had this morning just watching my old friend Wolfman Jack. They put his special on the air this morning. He's been dead for like 31 years already.
That long?
1995, I think, is when he died.
Let's see. Yep, 1995. So it'll be coming up on 31 years in July.
All right, so because the first thing I want to ask you is, going to be hard to answer. So I'll save the Wolfman Jack thing for later, because what he said to me the day he met me was so damn sweet and cool. It was great. I did notice something. I woke up this morning, and things have been, Kath and I went out and had a really nice night last night. Went out to dinner. Jude went with us. It was a really, really nice night, and I go to sleep and all the rest. What?
You were just driving me nuts.
Oh, he is
Sorry.
going crazy over there. There's no question about it.
Sit down.
So I woke up this morning. I usually wake up, and by the way, Andy, I got to tell you, my sleep is phenomenal. I sleep through the night now, and I haven't done that since I was 16 years old.
Me either.
I am sleeping through the night. I can't believe I sleep a minimum of like 7 hours to 8, 9 hours.
What's your
sometimes.
secret?
Well, I mean,
Medication.
well, there's a medication, but that's not okay.
Well, it is.
You gotta. Well, there's some other effort too, and try to clear your thinking. Well, this is exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm going to do right now is kind of clear my thinking, because then I sleep better. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not thinking about this stuff and ruminating all night long.
Yes.
And because Kristen's on, she lives in the city and all the rest of it. So I turn on the television this morning. I'm just kind of watching the headlines, and this, that, and the other thing, and all the rest of it. And I popped on YouTube because I watch, the ABC, CBS, NBC, all of those, and then I watch Fox, and then I also watch, this other stuff. But so I'm watching. I pop on YouTube, which is going to take over, by the way, the broadcast market, are they not? Well, I can't even call it broadcast anymore.
Yeah, they're the number one platform out
Yep.
there. So
Absolutely.
they beat even TikTok. They beat Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
And they're getting bigger all the time, by the way. They're getting huge. So I tune into YouTube to see what the headlines are, because I like to go to several different sources to see if I'm getting the true story or what's going on or whatever. And I was, scrolling through all the stuff that they're going to put up, and I'm watching this and I'm watching that, and I keep scrolling through it. And I noticed there were no stories about Donald Trump or Biden, or there were no political stories at all, and that would have been about 7 o'clock this morning, maybe 8 o'clock this morning, something like that. And I thought, well, that's kind of nice that they maybe just let this all go and they can work it out in the court system or whatever. So I watched it for about a half an hour, and it was very positive, news and all the rest of it. Then I went for my walk, which is, it takes me 45 minutes. I come back, and I put YouTube back on to see if this was consistent. I turned it back on about an hour and a half later, after I had turned it off. Every story was about how one of the politicians is the biggest asshole ever born. Trump should go to prison. Biden should go to prison. This guy should go to prison. Why do they all of a sudden turn it on? The day did not start that way. And I know nothing happened this morning that would have pushed it over the edge. So, Kristen, do they hold those stories off until... You would think they do it first thing in the morning, because people are probably watching it before they go to work or whatever, right?
Yeah, 7 to 8, like on the morning shows, is considered like the hard news hour, and then they moved into softer lifestyle topics, usually from 8 a.m. on.
Yeah.
But I do feel like right now there's just a constant 3-story news cycle. It's been ready, Andy. I'm gonna bust it. How many minutes? 4 minutes and 44 seconds. Epstein or Nancy Guthrie, and we kind of have the tail end of either / Olympics /
Right.
Super Bowl.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's all that's happening right now.
Yeah, it's so interesting that they have to. invent a battle, because apparently the battle must have cooled off, because then they didn't just go after Trump, they went after all the figures in this whole deal, so it wasn't completely political, I guess. I don't know.
Well, we're
But I'm
living in an era of copy-paste journalism.
Yes,
so when
we
it's
certainly
the
are.
East Coast, then it's copied and pasted all through the West Coast, and that's just how they do everything.
Well, and I'm still hearing people on the internet whine about Ronald Reagan, so it's like we're going to be hearing about
That is
Trump and
true.
Biden for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and again, it wasn't just about Trump and Biden. It was about all the politicians, and because apparently Chuck Schumer just went through some big
He was.
deal or something.
They just found out that Epstein donated a ton of money to Chuck Schumer after he was already convicted of pedophilia.
Uh-oh.
Like I said, this is all, it's all very interesting because a lot of people wanted these Epstein files to be released to
Right.
get Trump. And
Yep.
and great, if he's on there, he should go down.
Absolutely.
No
They
doubt
should
about
get
that.
everybody.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But
Yep.
it's kind of backfiring on a lot of people who thought that they controlled all of the narratives, and
Yeah.
they don't. Because of the freedom of speech that we still have.
That is very, very nice. But I guess what I'm trying to ask here, and I'm not saying this, but I'm asking this, should people maybe back off their unyielding support of anybody on the left, right, middle? Where I can't do it. I cannot support one person. So you agree with that?
Oh, I 100% agree. I mean,
That's wonderful.
And I've felt that for a long time. It's why I switched to no party preference, and I think I switched to no party preference back in like 2012, maybe. It's been a long time since I have signed up for a party, and I think collectively, as the average American, wake up. Like, I am just like, wake up to see what is happening, because it's this, and then it's the rest of us, and the rest of us aren't being taken care of.
No.
No, we're not. And the lies that go on social, and not just social media, but media in general. I don't know how you even watch TV anymore. You got to maybe watch shows from 60 years ago or something. So, it just, the whole thing is just so filthy and nasty. And by the way, the biggest voices in both the Democratic and Republican parties are the biggest assholes they have. Why is that?
Why would you want to be in politics? I mean,
Yeah.
like that.
Well, yeah,
look at that. That's
that's
the number
true,
one.
too,
Like,
yes.
you could not pay me. I mean, I could go out there and run for office, and I'd make some great speeches. I love public speaking. You could not buy me. You could not say, I will give you $100 million to run for office. I will not do it. It seems like such a miserable arena.
Right.
It's just terrible.
I don't know. I talked to Michelle Tafoya the other day, who's running for Senate.
She's going to be on
So-
next week, by the way. Wait,
Then I asked her, I
is
said,
it next
what
week?
are you thinking? Why do you want to do this? And she
Right.
really feels very strongly that Minnesota is a
Yeah.
great state and people should fight for it and people should fight against corruption and all that stuff. But it's like, if you're the lone voice, if you're the one person in a room of 100 corrupt politicians, what do you think you're going to be able to get done? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the issue. I mean, you would need to elect lots of great politicians who collectively together can work for the greater good of America, right? But that's not going to happen because you've got lobbyists that are going to start going, well, I'll give you money if you vote for this bill. And that's what happens to everybody. They get to Congress and it's like they're completely sold out.
Yep. Who's the owner of Victoria's Secret?
Les
Wex-
Wexner.
Les
Les
Wexner.
Wexner. Yeah.
Wexner. Yeah, apparently he
Wexner.
was involved in all of this Epstein stuff and financed a whole bunch of things. This is a deep, dark, grotesque
It is.
thing.
He was the lead guy in the Epstein case in terms of like the funding of all of the money, because that is the first person that Epstein kind of like partnered up with. Les Wexner was like Victoria's Secret. There was a whole bunch of companies. And in fact, if you go back, and I want to say it's Hulu, it might be Netflix, but I want to say it's Hulu, had a documentary on Victoria's Secret and how dark that was.
Yeah.
And it ties to so much. And you also look at someone like Naomi Campbell, who was, the supermodel, who was one of the Victoria's
Right.
Secret angels in Les Wexner's orbit, and also in Jeffrey Epstein's orbit.
Oh, God.
Like
That's
just
so
at a lot of the
sad.
parties, and some of the women, some of the survivors have claimed that Naomi was one of the recruiters. There's claims, allegations. That's all we have. But enough of the survivors have named her in their testimony.
You know, what's interesting about this is I just saw an article today about, so there's this area just west of where all the rich people in Palm Beach Island live, about a half an hour maybe west, called Royal Palm. And they have a really big high school out there. And apparently 2 of the girls, this is a long time ago, this is how this whole story broke, started fighting. They were fighting. Physically fighting, and one was calling the other one a hooker and a whore.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, apparently they investigated and looked into this girl's bag and found out she had $300 worth of cash, which was unusual for this girl circumstances to have that much cash. So they looked into why she had that much cash, and it led back to Epstein. If it hadn't been for 2 girls fighting in high school,
Really?
we
And
might
his
not.
massages.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yep, and also they were recruiting out of that high school a lot.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's verified. And I
Unbelievable.
believe
It is
what's the
verified.
big Miami Herald? I believe Miami
Yeah,
Herald
yep.
was the one that broke that story too. They've done a lot of good
Yeah.
work on the
Yeah,
Epstein.
maybe they did.
Yeah.
I don't know, but everybody's like, "Well, why didn't these victims come out? Why weren't they calling each other?" Because what was happening is, as they were being recruited and they were in this life and they were getting paid, they were told, "If you tell anybody, bad things are going to happen to you, your family, everything else." And then after they aged out, like 16, 17, 18, they were paid big money to recruit other girls. So they were part of the problem. But they were also, they were embedded into a very horrible situation that they didn't feel like they could get out of. They were
It's like an
terrified of
MLM.
him. Yeah.
From a pyramid scheme.
Well, yeah, really. I mean, it
Pretty
is.
much the deal.
Les Wexner, by the way, Abercrombie and Fitch, Victoria's Secret, La Senza, and Bath and Body Works. Like, he had an
Jesus.
empire of retail stores there.
Yeah,
I don't
he
understand
really did.
having that much money and that much power, and you want to have sex with little girls.
Well, that's an
What?
ultimate power trip, I guess.
It's not,
I can
though.
do whatever I want
Well,
to
that's a good
whoever
point.
I want, whenever I want, and no
Yeah.
one's going to stop me.
You're right.
And
All
it was
right.
little boys too, but no one wants to admit it.
Oh,
It's in the
really?
files. It's in
See,
the files.
I didn't even know that.
It's in the files,
It
yeah.
is.
It's in the
Unbelievable.
files. It's just
All
sad.
right. My second thing that would have lightened the moment, I held this back to lighten the moment, because I was watching the news this morning again, and there was nothing on about any politicians or what, blah, 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 blah. Then I came back an hour and a half later. It was nothing but how horrible everyone is, and they should all go to prison, and they're all horrendous and blah. So I'm looking for something to watch, and I'm just dialing around, and I find the history of Wolfman Jack. And I thought, oh, my God, that... Because there was a very special part of that for me. I said, I'll just watch that. That'll make me feel it. Because I was getting sad again
all
watching all
depressing.
that news. It's very depressing.
It's all depressing.
I mean, it was very depressing. So I was thinking about Wolfman Jack, and I watched the whole thing, and it was really, really a well-done hour about Wolfman Jack. But when I was 19 years old, I'm at 1500 KSTP, the Hubbard Broadcasting over there. I'm 19 years old, and I go into work one day. I'm doing 6 to 10 at night, and Chuck Knapp, the program director, says, "Hey, there's somebody here that wants to meet you." And I said, "What are you talking about?" Because I thought he was talking about like a cop or something. I'm from North Minneapolis. I think, what did I do? But he says, "Okay, well, just wait here. I'll go get him. He just wants to say hello to you." He says he's a big fan of yours. I'm like, okay, well, this ought to be interesting. So I wait about 10 minutes, and all of a sudden I hear, "Cadman," because that was my name. Jim Chanel, the program director at 1500 KSTP, said, "Tom, you've got that raspy voice." And I did. He wanted me to use this slogan, and I never did. So let's see if you can guess what the end of the slogan is. "Hi, it's Catman, and I'm looking for some..."
Oh.
Oh, no.
I don't think you could have said that on the radio.
I didn't. Believe me, I didn't do it, and I was never going to say that. But I thought, Catman, that's kind of a cool name. Just go with Catman. Cat is on the radio, that kind of stuff. So I'm the Catman. I'm 19 years old. The door opens, and there's Chuck Knapp, and right behind him is Wolfman Jack. And he comes in the door. I mean, this for a 19-year-old kid, this is way over the top. "Catman, you're stealing my act, but that's all right. That's what he says to me, right? And I will never forget, he was the nicest man that you'd ever want to. From what I understand, talking to people who worked with him, he gave a lot of money to help a lot of people. He was a very helpful. Did you hear that? That he was a really nice guy?
No, because I wasn't working in entertainment when he was at the height of his career. He'd passed before I'd even graduated high school. So,
yeah, that makes total sense. But I mean, to have the legendary Wolfman Jack say, "Catman, you're stealing my act, but that's all right." I mean, what a moment for me. And the only reason, first of all, I did love watching the documentary this morning. It was an hour-long documentary, and he looked like the decent guy that I got to know. I met him a couple more times after that. He was a very decent guy, and he just was inspiring other people and all the rest of it. Is there anybody out, and the reason I even bring this up, it did make me happy, but is there anybody trying to inspire anybody now, anything other than to hate people? I mean, is that the only inspiration they got now?
I mean, I think there are people out there. I just think those voices need to be heard more. And,
Yes.
You know, I just don't watch the news because it's not very inspiring.
No, you're right.
You know, although I'm not going to lie, like my friend and I are playing Scooby-Doo in the whole like Nancy Guthrie situation just because there's like news every other moment, and it's crossing over into entertainment. So we've done a lot of coverage of it. But you know, when it comes to inspirational voices, I find that it's certainly not celebrities. It's certainly not politicians. It's certainly not news people. So I just kind of like look elsewhere for that.
Oh, somebody just posted something about losing the signal or something. Andy, you know what that is?
What?
I suppose it just depends on where they. There was a post on there. You don't have to go back to it. It doesn't matter. So now another thing. So we had it, you know, kind of starting the day watching people hate one another, and then I was cheered up by watching Wolfman Jack and what an inspiration he was. So now you've heard both sides. Now you can go in either direction.
Well,
whatever you want to do.
I have something that could cheer you up quick.
Okay.
A picture that Melissa sent me. So after I left, she took a shower with Colin, and then she went into our room to fold laundry. So she dumped a basket of laundry out on the bed, because that's what we do. We dump it out on the bed and then we fold it.
Right, that's what I do.
She put the basket down, and then she was folding laundry, and she looked over to the basket, and the basket was gone. And she looked for it. She went into the bathroom, and she saw this. Colin had put all of the clothes into. He brought the basket in there and put all the dirty clothes in there.
Colin did.
Yeah, apparently.
God, we finally have a neat one.
He's
Finally have a neat one.
a year and a half in.
You only get one.
Yeah, next month he'll be a year and a half.
Year and a half, and he's already putting the laundry away.
Yep.
Oh,
helpful baby.
That's so cute.
He doesn't even have a single word spoken yet, but
It's true.
He still isn't talking.
no, he has not spoken a single word yet. He won't even try to say mama or dada or anything.
You know, I had two brothers that were close in age, and my mother said that the youngest one didn't talk. They had their own little special language. They could understand each other completely, but he didn't talk till he was almost 3.
Wow.
Yeah, and Daryl, who's made up for lost time talking, let me tell you. He's like a genius IQ. It had nothing to do with IQ, whether they talk early or not.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem to feel the need. And that's the thing. It's like he'll be babbling and stuff, and then like he'll almost say a word, and we'll encourage him to say a word, and then he'll just like leave. He's like, no, you can't make me speak.
He's probably why do I want to get involved in conversations today?
Yeah,
There's a lot of babbling going on in the house.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, yeah, God, he probably hears Ethan screaming and us being like, Ethan, stop, and he's like, I don't want to get involved in this. I want to stay what I am.
Yeah.
Although he does, Ethan or Colin screams now.
No,
just
great.
like, oh God, sometimes we don't even know what he's doing. Like he's sitting at the dinner table and we're all eating dinner, and he'll just like start screaming, or he'll go like this. And we're like, what is wrong? You've got water, you've got food. He's just like mad at the world for no reason. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they
Little
get like
kids.
that. I don't know. Yeah.
Just mad.
Little kids.
We don't know why.
Little kids are the best thing that ever happened. I'm telling you.
They are hilarious.
Little kids are wonderful. They can be a massive pain in the ass, but in general, they're wonderful.
Yes.
No question.
I
Love
agree.
the kids. You know what I'm saying.
Yep.
So who should we attack on the show now?
No, let's not. Let's not attack anyone. No.
Okay, good. It works for me. Absolutely.
They call me Mama. Same. We have a friend whose boy didn't speak until he was 3. Yeah.
Oh,
I
there
think
you go.
Melissa
It's not
didn't speak until
uncommon.
she was 3 either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she says she was enabled by her grandpa. She would just point at things and he'd like bring them to her.
Love
Oh,
that.
there
It's
you
like
go.
why
Oh.
speak if you can just point and go and then get what you
I don't
want.
need to.
Yep,
Oh, but
exactly.
that'll work for me.
You could try
There
it.
you have it.
I'm always trying to get Bill because I'm like, after talking all day, I'm like, I just need quiet around the house. And he'll be like, bang, 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 bang.
Right.
What the hell?
All of the cabinets, the water goes off. I'm like, oh my God.
Jake Hudson, 8452, hi from Mississippi. Well, we got another state on the
Hey.
list. I don't think we have any
There you
Mississippi
go.
listeners, do
are
we?
Are you from Minnesota, Jake?
Jake Hudson? Well, wait.
Jake Hudson.
It says
Husden.
Husden. You're right. It's not
Husden,
Hudson. Because
yeah.
Hudson is a Minnesota-y name, but Husden, I don't know.
yes. Husband.
Yeah. From Mississippi.
8452.
MISSISSI.
Mississippi.
Everyone's
I like it.
thumbs upping. Are those thumbs up emojis? I can't tell from here. I think they
They're
are.
Those look
highs.
like waving.
They're hellos.
waving.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
waving. All right.
Yeah.
A lot of waving. Very happy. It was wonderful.
So we watched we just watched the opening of the Olympics, the ceremony where it was Andre Bocelli
Oh, God.
singing Nestle Dorma. Oh my God,
Unbelievable.
that song! Just I don't know what it is
Yep.
about it.
It's stunning, isn't it?
I know it's not like I've studied opera or I go to the opera. I've been to a few, operettas and that kind of stuff. We saw Pavarotti once, and we saw Bocelli once,
Yeah.
and it's like. I don't know what it is about that music. It just can get into
Oh, yeah.
you. It's just so emotional. You don't even know what they're saying, but it's.
I think it's the soaring notes. Anytime
Oh,
you
yeah.
soar, I think
Oh,
it
yeah.
gets in your bones and it
Yeah.
I don't know, it moves you to tears a lot, which is
yeah,
nice.
it really does. It's
I've
just
told
very
this.
moving
I've said this
music.
on the show before. Opera and like Rat Pack music. They both always remind me of one thing. Can you guess what that is?
The backyard.
Close.
pool.
The pool, yes. Swimming in our backyard pool.
Yeah,
Really?
we played a lot of that stuff.
There's
Oh,
certain
that's true.
there's certain Frank Sinatra songs when I hear them I will smell chlorine. Because that's what we did all summers. We went out and
There
we
you go.
swam, and Dad would put on
I
one
like
of his Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin or Bocelli CDs, and that's what we'd listen to for like 4
Pavarotti.
hours back there.
Yep.
Well,
those
think
are
about it.
greatest.
It's that type of music that they use for the fountains in Vegas. It's
That's
a lot
true,
of
yeah.
Bocelli. It's a lot of orchestral music
Yep.
with
Yep.
like soaring scores. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Well, we'll give you an example. We're talking about kind of the way I, started the show this morning. It is still morning. I just want to make sure that was true. I mean, a prime example of that is that no matter who sings it, but the two men we mentioned, pretty damn special. Nessun Dorma means no one sleeps. So he's singing to the world, you're not going to fall asleep until you know how much I love this woman. Now, how could you not like that song, right?
I'm sure there's someone that would be like, I hate that song.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably
You
true.
know, there's always that one guy out there.
That's
Jake's-
the one thing about opera that I love, though, is that they deliver that message. Your no one sleeps until you know how much I love her. That's such an operatic thing to say.
Well, that or it's about war.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, maybe
That
about
or-
war too.
Jake is telling
what the
his story now. He has friends in Minnesota. He used to work with Aaron from Steel Toe Media. Aaron Imholt.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
sure, I know him.
Yeah, we had him on the show a long time ago. Things have
Yeah.
been not going so great for him. I don't know
I
what
didn't know that.
cowpote is.
Cowpote.
And now-
Podcasting. I
Oh,
don't
that's
know
a
what that
guy.
is.
Yeah, I don't think he's a big fan of him. Oh, he said he hates Jake Hudson or he hates me.
Oh yeah, cowpote podcast. I don't know what that is.
Well, there's a lot of podcasts that are just about hating people that do very well.
Yeah, I don't know what I haven't.
too.
He used to try to reach out to me all the time. The guy who runs Cowpote or what I can't remember his name, but it's Tom's fault. This person got fired, and it's Tom's fault. Yeah, everything was my fault. Sorry, I succeeded. Really, I'm really sorry about that. You know what I mean?
You should be. How
Oh,
dare
honest to
you.
God, if you succeed in Minnesota, you will answer for it. I can guarantee you that.
If you get the right friends, you're okay.
Well, friends, yeah, but I'm talking about overall.
Yeah. You have to
Yeah,
be
I don't
very
know,
careful
it's-
who you're friends with in Minnesota.
Frank Sinatra reminds me of sitting on the deck with my dad. That's exactly
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. That's
When he drank beers in the summer.
drank beer in the summer.
There's certain
Beer and Frank Sinatra. I love
Cracking
it.
that cold one.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's certain things like
Exactly.
that. There's like certain songs or certain games that I play. Like I have this permanent association between this Nintendo 64 game called Jet Force Gemini and Icebreaker's Mints. Like when I eat
Oh, there you
when I
go.
eat the mints, I think of the game. When I play the game, I think of the mints because this one day I just was playing the game and eating Icebreaker's mints, and now it's like the two are permanently fused in my brain. I don't know how
your
normal
mind
that is,
works.
but I have a lot of that stuff. Like certain episodes
Yeah.
of a TV show, I'll go back and watch, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that I was like playing this game or having this conversation while this episode was going."
Jake Hudson said, "Oh yeah, Jake, I could do your podcast. That's not a problem at all."
Yeah,
I'd
email
love
us,
to do that. Thank you.
TomBernardPodcast@gmail.com. There you go.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, once send the information. Obviously, you can't do it at this time of the day, but I don't know when you do it, but we can get it done. No question about it. So we only got a couple more minutes
I
with
know, we're
you.
just blah, blah, blah.
Stuff going
We're all
on.
talking.
But it was great, though. Talking about a lot of things instead of, oh my God, we're trying to get through it all. Some people are giving up, though. I will tell you that. They say it is just there's not even a fight to do here. It's already called. I don't agree with that.
No.
We can all still have our voices heard and try to make it the best world we can, right?
And watch a little Olympics. At least we have 2 weeks of like
Right.
joy. There's a lot of joy in the Olympics.
Is it that
I know
long?
people go, oh, I don't care. It is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a 2-week long.
Was it always that
Events.
long?
Yes.
Oh, huh. I just never paid attention, apparently.
I'm surprised they
Yeah.
can get it all in 2 weeks, to tell you the truth.
Honestly, there's so
Yeah.
many competitions, and they keep adding a lot to it. You look at figure skating, it used to just be an individual sport, but there's a team component now. They're going to be doing the same thing with gymnastics, adding, yes, there's a team, but they're going to be adding like a mixed, I call it
Yeah.
like mixed doubles, like in tennis, but male and female gymnasts competing against the world. So it's going to be really, really interesting just to see how that all plays out.
They
But-
drop sports a lot too, though. So there is that.
They do. They always drop sports. Like I know everyone made fun of the breakdancing in the Summer Olympics.
Yeah, it
That's
didn't
not
last
moving
long.
forward in the LA Olympics. But there are certain sports that are considered just ones that you can drop and you can add, and the city gets to decide whether to feature them or not. And so Paris decided to feature dance. LA was like, no thanks, which is weird because we have a lot of dance
Yeah.
here, but
Yep.
they didn't. But I will say that this Olympics is up 60% so
Yeah.
far in ratings
Really?
compared to 2022.
Yep.
Why?
2022, one of the big things has to do with location. When it is so far ahead, when it's in Asia, the
Right,
time zones
right.
really upset
Yep.
like a lot of people. Like over in the Americas, it's just harder to watch, especially for those who want to watch live. So it's become one of those things. It's preferable to have an Olympics in Europe or
Yeah.
South America, North America.
Quickly, before you have to leave, Tyre has been trying to get this question in for a few days now.
Good call, Andy. Yep.
Crime 101. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah, I have not seen it. It's on Amazon. It's with Mark Ruffalo and Chris Hemsworth. And
Oh, yeah.
Tyre, if you have any thumbs up or thumbs down about it, let us know.
Well, you already mentioned one guy I wouldn't watch it just because he's in it.
Which one?
I've had to deal with Mark Ruffalo a couple times.
Oh, he's kind of a-
What an
yeah.
arrogant prick that man is. Oh,
I wouldn't want to meet him.
He's actually very nice.
Hmm.
And
not
honestly,
to me.
I'm sorry.
back in the day.
I will say that like he is one of those that if there are 5 reporters left and his publicist is trying to pull him off the red carpet, he will speak to all 5 reporters at least
that's
getting in one
good.
question.
That's
Yeah,
good.
and that sounds like nothing, and people are like whatever, but it's
No, it
hard
is.
sometimes when you're at the end of the line to get in all those quotes. So
Tyre says it was okay. Not good, not
not
bad.
good, not bad.
Well, all right
I mean,
then.
Halle Berry's in it, Nick Nolte's in it, Jennifer Jason Leigh. I mean, it's got
Nick
a big
Nolte.
cast.
I didn't know he was still around.
He is still around. He like pops up every once in a while, and you're like, oh, there he is.
And well, every time anybody says Nick Nolte, I think of his mugshot. Remember?
Oh God,
It's like
that was not a good
one of the
mugshot.
worst mugshots.
He's
look this
85,
up.
by the way, you guys.
He
I just went to
is?
look up his age. 'cause I was
Oh,
like,
that's
how
the,
old is he?
Didn't Charlie from Albuquerque? Didn't you used to use that mugshot as your Facebook profile picture?
Really?
It looks very familiar, and I think that's where I've seen it before.
1, 2. He's had 4 spouses and 2 partners.
Well,
There you
2
go.
long-term partners.
So he's popular.
Busy.
Didn't
I'm
he have,
surprised
like,
he only has 2 kids.
a big alcohol problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that mugshot was for, was DUI or something.
Yeah, I believe it's DUI. And he was known for a short temper, too. He was tough. A tough person to work with.
Oh, speaking of tough person to work with, you're running overboard already, so we better free you up for
Gotta
your
go
other
do a
duties.
Hallmark interview.
Oh, there you go. There
Yeah.
you go. Absolutely. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you all tomorrow.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. I did get your message. Yes, you sent me who was the man again?
An email.
Has the podcast?
Oh, Jake?
Yeah, Jake.
Yes.
From Mississippi.
So yeah, we have that. So thank you very much, and we'll figure the whole thing out, and we'll come on and do your podcast. I'd love to do that.
There you go, Charlie. Nick Nolte. Yes, that was me. There you go. I knew it. I never forget a face,
Yes.
even if it's not your real face.
I know. It's just like one of those, you are so drunk. How did you even
Yeah.
arrive
Didn't
at
look
this
good.
situation?
Pretty
How
much
can you
true.
be standing up to get a mugshot? I mean, he was like, whoa. He looked terrible.
It all works out. I suppose we better take a break. We'll be right back. So, Vinny's coming on?
Yeah,
Coming in?
he's in.
Oh, Vinny.
He's in the
Good.
backstage right now.
Oh, he's in
Yeah, we haven't
studio.
talked to him
Yep.
in a while.
Well, no, I mean like on
Forward.
StreamYard, but he
Yeah.
Oh, he's not in the building.
no.
No. He
I
lives
wanted
in
to
California.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He lives in California. What the hell am I talking about? All right, we'll take a break. Be right back in a couple seconds. From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands-free, but you can't have your phone in your hands for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget. And now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
You may have noticed that it's been cold outside. You may also have noticed that if you go to tombernardpodcast.com and click the merch tab up top, you can purchase a nice warm hoodie you can use to stave off the frostbite, of course. Then, once your arms are warm, you can get yourself an insulated tumbler so you can thaw your frozen soul. Yes, I said frozen soul, with a hot beverage of your choice. And if you haven't noticed these things, well, now you know. We're rocking out, man. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Vinnie Tortorich is with us. What's happening, Pally?
First off, you guys mentioned before the break that I'm in California. I left California in late 2019.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. My career, as you guys may know, I worked with celebrities for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then my whole business shifted to the internet with the podcast and the book and the documentaries, all the stuff.
Sure.
And my wife and I looked around and was like, well, wait a minute. We can be anywhere. But we didn't know where we wanted to be.
Sure.
Like we kicked around, Idaho, or, Wyoming. It sounds great, the whole thing. Well, at the same time, my stepdaughter was going to UVA in Virginia, and we kept visiting here. We eventually moved here. And every time we came, we got an Airbnb. And one time I actually saw the bill after, I never see bills. That's just the way
Right.
my life works.
Right.
I saw a bill and I was like, what the? And I said to Marty, I said, we paid this much to be there for 4 or 5 days? She goes, absolutely. And I said, go find me a house near campus so that we can have an Airbnb. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm like a little mini, like what's his name, the financial guy everyone loves, Dave Ramsey. I'm like a little mini Dave Ramsey.
Oh, Dave Ramsey.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So I was like, let's go get some real estate there and make some money. Apparently, this is a way to go. And it turns out it was a good deal, but we kept visiting here more and more. And every time we got on the plane to go back to LA, you get out. You guys have been to LAX a ton of times.
Yep.
You
Yep.
get out at LAX and now you're on the treadmill again. You
Yep.
go from
Right.
being happy to F you and flipping people
Yep.
up on the street. By the time you
Go
got
through
home,
the light.
oh my God, it's like, does anyone know how to drive here? And people are cutting you off and the whole thing. And one day you just wake up and go, why are we here?
Right.
And
Yeah.
we
The
moved.
weather.
Yeah, pretty much.
Think about that statement, the weather, the beauty. As my friend Adam Carolla once said, he goes, California is like a hot blonde. When she's in her 20s, people will laugh at her dumb jokes, even though they're not funny. But as she ages, you realize, oh, wait, she wasn't so funny. Right?
Nice.
You start looking at California the same way. You're going, look, when I got there in 1990, Venice Beach was still, there was Muscle Beach and people
Sure.
were working
Right.
out.
Yep.
And Hippie was just skating, out there on Venice Beach and with the boom boxes. It looked like California,
Right.
right? It looked like, you might see Jack Tripper going down
Right.
the.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, that all became homeless people. And that's when you wake up one day and go, wait a minute, what am I paying for?
Yeah.
Sad.
But there's all these scandals of all this money, hundreds of millions of dollars that have supposedly gone towards solving the homeless problem, and nobody's been helped, and it just keeps growing. It's like, where's all the money going?
It's a sad thing. And I stay out of politics, but because, I don't, I can't make a difference, so I don't care. No one needs to know what my politics are. But when you pay billions and billions and billions in to fix a problem, and the problem gets worse, they didn't retard the problem or reverse it 10%. It increased by 50%.
Right.
You go, well, what are we paying for?
Right.
What's going on?
Exactly. Where's the money going?
Yeah.
I like this.
Interesting question that we'll never have an answer.
No. I like this weird question from the chat. If you could have $50 million or a flying carpet, which would you choose?
That's interesting.
It's a very strange question to pop in with.
It is.
I mean, I am afraid of heights. I definitely would not want to be on a flying carpet ever.
I'm guessing you could rent that carpet out for a lot of money. And make
Right.
more than
$50 million,
50 million.
though, I don't know.
50 million is a lot of
I
money.
would take the flying carpet,
Oh, yeah?
and I'll tell you why. We can all somehow make $50 million.
Speak for
I know
yourself.
it's not probable, but it's possible.
Right. Right.
Nobody's going to get a flying carpet. Sorry.
Right.
We
No,
got
that's
drones. Now you can put a carpet on top of a drone. There you go. Flying carpet.
I guess.
Easy
No,
peasy.
I was promised my entire life that by now I would have. I told my wife, I said, as soon as there's a viable hovercraft, I want one.
Right.
Because my whole life I was promised a flying car. I'm
By the
62.
Jetsons.
Yep.
The Jetsons.
I know.
the fact that we're talking through a screen right now, this is Jetson's life.
It is.
It is. Yeah, it
Yep.
is.
Screen
Yep.
up, and you will go, "Oh my God, that's not even possible," but it was. We're doing it. Where's my hovercraft?
Yeah, I want one. They are working on them.
Yeah,
They have prototypes, but I don't think they've solved the problem of people flying into each other yet.
No, that's the thing. It's like,
Doing
do you,
stupid stuff.
current cars work on 2 dimensions. You can't go up and down.
Yeah.
You can only go forward,
Right.
backward, left, and right. That's 2 dimensions. And people are getting in plenty of accidents in 2 dimensions. You add a
Yeah,
third dimension,
true.
that's an exponentially higher amount of accidents.
Yeah.
you obviously never saw Smokey and the Bandit because of cars go in other dimensions.
Well,
There
you can
you
go
have
up,
it.
but then you have to come down. That's the thing. You can't
Yeah.
you can't choose
Again,
whether to stay
never
up.
saw.
Unbelievable. I'm looking at the post behind you there, Fat, a documentary. How long ago did you do that?
That movie came out in 20. It was this. All right, I'll tell you. I can't remember. 2018, 2019.
Yeah, okay.
It came out the same year as Free Solo. It was, I put it out through Gravitas Ventures. It was on 70 VODs around the world. It was, and I can show you screenshots of it. It was the #1 documentary streaming on Apple, on Amazon, on 5 or 6 or 7 different platforms at all time of the 70. We were the #1 documentary for months. Free Solo was behind us.
Yeah, amazing.
And the only thing that toppled us was when Aretha Franklin died and they put that one up at the same time. She toppled us for like 3 or 4 days, and then we went back on top again.
Okay.
And we kept juggling with Free Solo. They got the Academy Award for Best Documentary of the Year. But it's kind of like your Magic Carpet versus the money. I
Yeah.
took the money.
Yeah.
It's like you could get an award to hang on your mantle. We did okay with this documentary, and it still makes money.
When your documentary came out, that was sort of the time where people were figuring out that the food pyramid was dumb, right?
It was back in when I hit the internet airwaves back in 2011 with my podcast that still runs today, Fitness Confidential. We do 3 shows a week. What we were talking about was considered completely ludicrous. When I started talking about the pyramid, and there were a few of us. It was me. It was my friend Gary Taubes who wrote the book Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It. About a year later, my good friend, we became friends now, Nina Teichels, wrote a book called Big Fat Surprise. We were all not just called lunatics, we were heretics.
Oh.
And at one point, I had death threats from vegan communities. I know that sounds crazy,
My
right?
God.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People are that. It's like, you're killing animals, we're going to kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
there you go.
Oh, PETA and everyone else, until I started putting out on the internet. You realize that PETA wants you to open the door and let your puppy run outside into the street, right?
Yeah, that's
think-
correct. Yep.
If you look at what PETA, so they decided to leave me alone after a minute because I'm not trying to harm animals. I love animals. But yeah, we were doing that. And then Dr. Drew Pinsky and Adam Carolla picked up on me around 2015. And when they first had me on their show, people wrote into Dr. Drew and said, you need to disassociate yourself with this guy because what he's saying is going to harm people.
Oh.
And Drew was like, well, I can't because he's telling the truth. Right. And this is long before RFKJ and all this stuff. We were talking about this stuff years before RFK came around. And now here we are.
Right.
And as you saw, they flipped the pyramid upside down. But it's still not enough because if you go and read all the pages behind that, they haven't done a whole lot.
Oh,
Be-
really?
Yeah, we're getting there, but we're not there.
Well, I mean,
It's-
how many
it's
people
being
out there
talked
are?
about.
How many people are out there are actually like looking at the food pyramid and going, "Oh, well, I've got to get my 3 extra servings of grains per day or whatever." I mean, does anyone really pay
Well-
attention to that in day-to-day
Well-
life?
Well, the problem with the food pyramid is it is dietitians who are formulating food for school lunches and hospitals and that kind of stuff. So yes,
True.
those people are paying attention to it.
Yeah, the institutions, and you're absolutely correct. Institutions and the military and school lunches and hospitals,
Prisons.
they go right off of the guidelines. And if you read what's behind it, they haven't increased red meat consumption a whole lot. It's better than it was before. I'll take it as a win, but it's a beginning. We need to do a heck of a lot more.
Well, here's an interesting question from the chat. Is it true
Yeah.
that much of the previous pyramid was because America was still coming out of a rough economic time? So I guess that would be like, when was the food pyramid made?
Okay, so I'll give you the history, but guys, and I'm not trying to sell a movie here, but if you want to go watch Fat documentary, it's why the movie still does so well. So
Right,
I'm going
yep.
to give you a quick what we talk about in the documentary. And the one thing the documentary does is I don't just say it, we put the facts up on the screen, and that's what made it so popular. It all started in 1860 something or 1870. With the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I have nothing against religion or the Seventh-day Adventists, but there was a woman in the church named Ellen G. White who said that God came to her in the middle of the night, and instead of putting her in a rubber room, they said, "Oh, really? What did God have to say?" And she said, "God said we should not eat anything that has a face."
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
That's a true story. And
Yep.
the Seventh-day Adventist Church was trying to stop men from fornicating and masturbating. And they realized that when you eat less meat, you're not as virile. And that's what they were trying to do. There was a
Okay.
man that used to write for the church. His name was John Kellogg. He formed a small company that's still around today that sells cornflakes and everything else.
Jeez.
And Dr. Kellogg and his friends, C.W. Post, started putting products out there and running propaganda programs. This is long before, and the dietitians came right out of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. They started a registered dietitian program, and that just kind of bumped along until late 1950s when a guy named Ansel Keys came around. Ansel
yeah.
Keys, for lack of any other word, he was the Anthony Fauci of his day.
Right.
He was just kind of a guy that just ran roughshod in media and worked within the government. So just think of Anthony Fauci of his day. And
Do I
he
have to?
decided that red meat was bad and that we shouldn't have red meat. And he had nothing to prove that. But in 1969 or 68, so I'm moving ahead from the 1950s. I'm just giving you a brief overlook.
Sure.
RFK Sr. was running he wanted to become president. And the way the Democrats do things, I think is brilliant. I think is really brilliant what they do. It's like, hey, we can get more votes. This is before they decided to open borders and do all that. We could get more votes by giving poor people free stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
So I'm not making this up, folks, and I'm not against Democrats. I'm not political. I'm
No,
just telling you what the
you're right.
facts are. You want free stuff? Vote for us. So they went, let's go study the Deep South. Let's go to Mississippi to some poor black communities and study this. And we're going to figure out a way to give these people food stamps. Now we call it SNAP or something else.
Right. Right.
But back then they just called it food stamps. So they had to do a study. So, Tom, you're old enough, your wife is not, but you're old enough to remember this. There was something called the McGovern Committee. So the McGovern Committee started to study poor people and hunger.
Right.
Now-
well, that was in Minnesota, wasn't it? Isn't that where it started? I think it started in
can't remember
Minnesota.
where they did. Yeah, I know McGovern was from up there somewhere. But
Yep. Yep.
So they started the McGovern Committee. Now, just to let people know, committees go on all the time now. And the longest committees now, like, remember the January 6th committee? That went on for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's like a long committee now.
Sure.
The McGovern Committee did not go on for 2 or 3 weeks. It went on for 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
So they just kept meeting for 10 years. And Ansel Keys saw that as his opportunity to not only, they figured out food stamps right away, right? But they just kept meeting. And they were arguing what's better, sugars or grains or meat. And since we were already subsidizing sugars and grains, we started doing that after World War II. The government is in the sugar and grain business worldwide. It's
Right.
part of what's going on, right? They were like, let's just tell everybody to eat more sugars and grains, and we're just going to say meat is bad. I actually have the footage in that film that you see behind me back there, the footage of when the committee throws their hands up in 1978 or 9, like 10 years after it started, and said, I don't know, pick one. They literally do that. And it's like, all right, we're going to go with this, eat more grain. And that became, you can't get fat if you don't eat fat. Remember the 80s?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So I just gave you guys a whole history of how this whole thing works. And then early in the 80s, we adopted, I want to say it was either Switzerland or Sweden, or someone had a pyramid. So we just took their pyramid and modified it. And on the bottom, we have 11 servings of grains. On the second level, we have grains and vegetables. So according to the original food pyramid, you need, I don't want to exaggerate, I think it's 21 servings of carbohydrates per day. My grandmother, who was from Italy, knew that if you ate bread and pasta, you got fat.
Yep.
Sure.
How did a woman with a 4th grade education, English is her second language, knew that you get fat on pasta and oatmeal and stuff? Yet we were doing this, and we couldn't understand how America got fat overnight. Now we're calling it an epidemic.
Well, there's a reason every country pretty much has a carbohydrate as their staple, and that's because carbohydrates are high in calories. And they're cheap to grow. So it's like,
Very
Asia's got
cheap,
rice, we got wheat over here and in Europe and that sort of thing. And it's always been because you can grow a lot of it and you don't have to eat that much to keep you going in hard times. They're high sources of calories, and the link between calories and weight gain has been known for quite some time. So I don't know. It's not like this was new information in the 70s, but I don't know. Oh, and by the way, so the McGovern-Fraser Commission started by George McGovern from South Dakota. So he was from up here.
Oh,
And later led by Donald Fraser from Minnesota. So you were right.
Yep. Don
makes
Fraser.
sense because we're a very big grain belt area.
Yep.
Yep.
Hence
Makes
the name
sense.
Grain Belt.
Do you think people do understand, and I'm asking all three of you this, that whenever some politician is giving you something, whether it's better groceries or better that, it's not for you, it's for him or her to benefit
There's
from?
no such thing as a free lunch.
There's no such thing as a free lunch is exactly the point. These people do it so they can be more famous and they can make more money. That's why they do it, correct?
Yeah, true statement.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
disgusting.
Sad but true.
Vinny, so Tom was watching this or looking around on YouTube this morning, and he was like, GLP. GLP is either the most wonderful thing in the whole wide world, or it's the most evil thing in the whole wide world.
Right,
The people
there's
that take it have to
right.
take it forever, and all these actresses and models and all this stuff have this Ozempic face and all of this stuff. It doesn't look healthy. What do you think about this
Yeah, I've been
nationwide push
I
for
was
it?
onto the GLP-1s and semaglutides and all the glutides. a long time ago. They came out in media a few years ago. Hollywood was using them before that.
Sure.
Right.
Nobody's talking about it. Hollywood does a lot of things that, it's like, why can't I look like Stallone? Well, he took steroids. Sorry.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
a fact.
Right.
Why can't I look like The Rock? Well, he took steroids. So
Yep.
there is no drug that I'm aware of, and I'm including aspirin, that does not have a side effect.
Right.
Sure.
And most of the side effects are pretty bad. GLP-1s have a lot of side effects. I am not a fan. The only thing a GLP-1 does is it slows the food down in your digestive tract so that you don't feel hungry, and then that causes other problems.
Right.
People start eating through the GLP-1s. People who have real eating problems eat through the GLP-1s. Manjaro, they'll give you 5 milligrams, and when that doesn't work, they'll go to 10 milligrams. When that doesn't work, they go to 15. And I actually know of people who will take the 15 milligram shot, and then they will try to buy other shots off of their friend.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
This is a real thing. Now, that's one problem, overtaking the drugs, because now they're talking about micro and nano dosing.
Yeah.
There are side effects. I take phone calls from people daily where they want to come off of these things. They've lost weight and they want to come off because they feel bad all the time, either nauseous or disoriented or dizzy or something, some version. But those are the side effects you know of.
Right.
Once you take a peptide, you are changing your chemistry, and that's a problem. That's a real problem. There are a few things that have come out, and they're all true because I've spoken to doctors who have worked on these things. One is, okay, let's say you have I'm going to just take someone that has 100 pounds to lose, just any old Joe. If you lose that weight naturally, right, by eating right and watching what you're doing and exercising, you will lose 80 pounds of fat and 20 pounds of muscle. There generally is no great weight loss without muscle loss.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's part of the thing. That's why I always tell people, when you start on a weight loss journey, exercise is a poor way to lose weight, but please exercise to keep muscle on your body.
Mom,
That's
can
thing
you
to do.
turn Dad's mic off? I can hear his headphones echoing. Oh, there we go. He's back.
He's back.
He's back.
No, I had to run down the hall for 1 second. Do you have? We should probably take a break.
We
Do
should.
you have how much more time do you have, Vinny?
I have time. Take a break, and we'll continue on with GLP-1s and muscle loss.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. That's a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the automotive twilight zone, one without sedans.
Is it really otherworldly that crossover and sport utilities have replaced sedans? I asked Brett Paul of the Valley Group of GM dealerships.
When you consider ease of entry, visibility, cargo space, and of course all-wheel drive traction, it really shouldn't be a surprise.
But what about things like style, comfort, luxury, and technology?
GMC has been refining this class of vehicles probably longer than any manufacturer. The new GMCs make sedans and minivans, the mom jeans, or black and white TVs of people haulers.
So what are the current GMC crossover and sport utility offerings?
See our sensibly priced Terrains, Acadias, and Yukons at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Valley GMC in Hastings.
A fifth dimension, beyond human knowledge, a place between light and shadow. The
Well, no, not really.
Now Vinny's
Rocking
gone.
out, man.
Where'd he go?
What's that?
I said,
Oh,
no,
he'll be back.
there he
He's
is.
back. Well, it's interesting to me because a friend of mine went on, and I mean, honest to God, she was constantly battling her weight, constantly. She went on the GLP or whatever one it was, I don't know what, and she said what it did for her was take away the food noise.
Right, that's what it's supposed to do, apparently.
The constant, I'm hungry, when are we going to eat next? What are we eating? What are we eating? What are we eating? And it just made it so that she could sit down and have a normal meal and not obsess about food. That seems to me, if you're taking a drug that is making it so that your digestive system is slowing down so much that it feels like it's full all the time, that's probably more, and somehow that triggers your emotional response to not eat. Because a lot of times it's an emotional problem. Mm-hmm. It's not a hunger problem. Many times it's an emotional problem, in my opinion. Overeating is a lot like anorexia. It's sort of related to that, where there's this obsession about food. It seems to me that there should be better guidance for people that are using it for more of an emotional attachment to food than putting drugs in your body that you don't know how your body's going to react.
Well, it's not really. All right. So, yeah, emotions come into it because once you gain weight, then it becomes an emotional thing. So I'm not discounting that. But what we know, and I've been in the fat loss game for 45 years. I've done one thing in my life, 43 years if I'm being exact. The one thing I know is that we gain and lose weight based on hormones. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when you eat, I'm going to give you an example that everyone in your audience can understand. If you buy a family bag of Doritos, let's say, and you tell yourself, I'm just going to put a few in the bowl, I'm going to sit in front of the television, I'm going to eat these few Doritos, and then I'll move on, right? Well, you'll eat those Doritos, and now the food noise starts, and you'll pour more Doritos. By the time you're done watching that program, you now have the bag sitting in front of you because you're tired of walking back and forth to the pantry.
Right.
Then when you're done with the bag, you're looking around going, what else you got?
Yeah.
Okay. If I took you out to your favorite steak restaurant and they brought you a ribeye or, a strip, whatever you like, and you ate that strip, and on your last bite, they brought another sizzling hot strip right out to you.
Please, God, no.
Say, "Oh, bag it up. I got to take it home." Now, here's the difference. A family bag of Doritos has 17 ounces of corn in it. That's just over 1 pound. The average strip in a restaurant is between 10 and 12 ounces. Mm-hmm. So why does one thing fill you to the hilt to where you can't eat another bite, but over a pound of corn will want you to go find ice cream in the freezer?
Yeah.
Sugar rush.
Sugar causes two hormones to be released. Well, several. There's cortisol. That's why you feel bloated and fat. There's insulin that's trying to cover that sugar, that spike, that load. And then there's ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin is the hormone that's supposed to make you feel hungry and it's time to eat. Mm-hmm. Well, that switch gets pushed in the opposite direction. And leptin is the hormone that's supposed to make you feel full. Mm-hmm. That's what's causing the food noise. You can't, even though you're full, your brain thinks you're starving. That's why after a pound of corn chips, you can empty a pint of ice cream.
Yep.
See, with meat, you can't do that.
Right.
With fat and protein, your body goes, I'm sated and I'm done. So you can stop the food noise without the drug. But most people, doctors will go, hey, you can have your cake and eat it too. Literally, you can have what you want, and this will stop the food noise while you're eating the junk that you want to eat. Do you see the difference?
Well, yeah. So on the topic of hormones, so we talked about GLP-1. So when people talk about things like Ozempic, they call it GLP-1, but it's not actually GLP-1 because GLP-1 is a naturally occurring hormone that gets released by your intestines when you eat a lot of food. Yep. When your intestines get distended with food, they release GLP-1, and that's what tells your brain stop thinking about food. What things like Ozempic are GLP-1 agonists, which means it binds to the same receptors and causes the same effects as GLP-1, but it is not actually the real hormone. It's kind of like a synthetic version of the real hormone. You can inject yourself with GLP-1, the hormone, but I think its half-life is like 5 minutes, so you literally have to put yourself on an IV drip for it. Whereas Ozempic, it's like hours and hours, so you inject yourself with this, and it'll stay in your brain, shutting off those receptors for many, many hours. You
are correct, sir. But here's the other side of it. You can do it naturally. And I've taken hundreds and hundreds of pounds off of a single person, and they've never taken a drug.
Yeah,
We've
that's
now
great.
taken millions, since I've been on the internet, we've taken tens of millions of pounds off of people who never paid me a dime because I put it all out there for free. Right? I mean, you can pay $1.99 for my movie on Amazon or whatever you want to do, but we put it all out there for free. I have no horse in the race. I have no skin in the game other than I'm trying to make people healthy. And that's all we've ever done.
I like how you've gotten people in the chat talking about their favorite flavors of Dorito.
You mentioned Doritos, and wow.
That's how our chat
That's
is.
our
Whenever you
audience.
mention
Wow,
food.
talk about food noise.
Oh, yeah,
right there on the
absolutely.
chat. Right
we
there
did,
on the chat.
I did have a question. Dave, former officer Dave, wants to know if you've heard of Virta, VIRTA, a low-carb program. Apparently he gives it for free.
Yeah, I've known those guys from the beginning. So that's Dr. Finney and Volek. They're doing an excellent job. They got together with a guy named Sami Inkernen. Sami's been on the show. They've all been on my show. Sami was a guy who was a professional triathlete. Incidentally, he was a .com guy that made an ass load of money. And he realized that even with all of the triathlon stuff he was doing, he could not save his own life. He was eating because athletes eat all of this junk food. Once Sami and his wife decided to prove that a low-carb, high-fat diet works, they got in a rowboat in, I want to say, San Francisco, and broke the record rowing from San Francisco to Hawaii.
Wow.
Holy
And
moly.
they
That's
broke
quite
the
a
record
ways.
there too. And they ate zero carbs. They ate nothing but high-fat food the entire way.
Wow.
And no
There
one
you
said
go.
it could be done. And Sami and his wife, who was also a great athlete, proved that it can be done. And then they started Virta Health. Is that knowing enough about Virta Health, or should I go on? and
Well, he
tell you guys
basically just
more
wanted to
about
know if it was a good idea to do it. Do you think it works?
Oh, so they have a program?
Yeah.
it? They do. I don't know what it costs or anything. I'm not associated with Virta Health. Like I said, you could go there, and if you're really broken, they can help you. Or you can go follow my stuff for free. It's the same stuff, but it's more, you have to pick and choose on your own with what we do.
I have
Yeah.
a question for you. Oh, you got
Sure.
some?
No, go ahead.
Just very quickly, it's interesting because the last couple of years, many years ago, I was a big-time weightlifter and all the rest of it, and then I stopped doing that, and I still maintained a weight of about 315 pounds. Then a couple of years ago, this really beautiful woman, her name was Catherine or something, I think, I'm not sure. She came to me and said, okay, well, it's time to dial it back. So a couple of years ago I did. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is good news for other people, because I could eat everything in sight back when I weighed 315 or was lifting or was doing whatever. Man, it was just nonstop. I now, and Catherine is right here to tell you this is true, I can go to any restaurant, order whatever, and I cannot finish it. I have to bring it home with me. What is it about your brain that all of a sudden it realizes this is the way to go? Like what? Last time we went to a really good restaurant. I ordered an 8-ounce steak.
You got a pork chop, and
A
you
pork
ordered
chop,
the
that's what it was.
calamari with a slaw.
Yeah, and the calamari, I had about maybe 7-8 pieces of it.
I did not count.
Yeah, and then, but I mean, in the steak and the other stuff, I had to bring at least half of it home, right?
Yeah?
So what happens in your brain? Because I don't do that on purpose. I don't go, I'm going to go in there, I'm only going to eat half of this, and then I'm going to bring the... I just go in, and if I eat the whole thing, which I don't anymore, but what is it about your brain that all of a sudden it says, you're not hungry anymore, stop eating? Is that normal?
Yeah, it is. I call it remapping.
Okay.
I talked about it in my book, Fitness Confidential, because I used to go to the racetrack with my motorcycles. And, even though the bikes were fast on the highway, when you get to the track, you want the bike to be even faster because now you're on the track where it's safe.
Right.
And, you would go there and there would be a guy there with a laptop. He would plug it into your motorcycle and remap the fuel and the way the exhaust and everything was going to react. They just remapped your bike. It became a beast. It became a different bike. And you would race, and then when you were done racing, you would take the race tires off, put the street tires back on, and the guy would stand there with the computer and remap it back down to normal. You're doing the same thing to your brain.
Right.
You to the bathroom, you remap your brain. Right. And that's what I'm talking about with the ghrelin and leptin. Once you go away from it, once you let your body work correctly, right, and you stop eating all of the Doritos and everything else, then your body remaps itself. I'll give you a great example of, you mentioned people in the chat talking about, hey, which flavor of Dorito? Back in the 1980s, I was dating back in New Orleans, I was dating the NBC affiliate news anchor. We were in a great relationship. Still love that woman. She's a great woman. There was a health and science reporter, and if I say her name, you're going to go, well, he can't be lying because no one else would have a name like this. Her name down in New Orleans was Leslie Cardet. And Leslie did a report back in like 1986 of the 5 worst diets that no one should ever try.
Okay.
And I can't remember all of them, but I do remember one was called the prayer diet. You can pray your fat away. One was called the sludge diet, where you ate nothing but, peanut butter and chocolate and ice cream. And the sludge would take all of the fat out of the body and make it go away. And the third one was the chocolate diet, where you ate all the chocolate you wanted and you would lose weight. And there were 2 more that were just as absurd. The crazy thing is, the station was bombarded with phone calls the next day. And I wouldn't have known this had I not been dating the anchor woman of that news.
Right.
They were bombarded with people going, please tell me more about the sludge diet. Tell me more about the chocolate diet. Tell me more. Jesus. It's the craziest diets in the world, but people are desperate and they're going to want to try anything at any time. Right? Catherine gave you the right thing, Tom. That's the difference.
I have a question for you about that, and I know we got to get going here. You got to go, and we got to go, and all the rest of it. But this is such an interesting topic. I just, trying to eat the right things. I just saw a report on what is supposed to be fat content in our food. It's not even real fat anymore. It's some other chemical. I mean,
there's a lot of garbage out there.
There's so much garbage in our food now. Like the creamy ice cream. It's not really ice cream. It's some other thing.
Like
it's
soybean
like,
oil and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible. What the hell are we doing? I don't get it.
You can look at foods, like people my age will say, well, I ate Doritos or I ate Frito-Lays when I was a kid. I ate this and I ate that. If you look at what was in those same products back in 1975 and what's in those products, like there were like 2 or 3 things in there, like corn, salt, and something else. Now there's a list. If you read that,
that's correct.
There's a list of things. And people go, well, I go to Europe, I have pasta and this and that and the whole thing, and I don't seem to get fat. Most other countries don't allow what we allow in this country, and it's kind of nuts. That's why I tell people, don't wait for RFK Jr. to do it. Don't wait for the government to do it. You can do it today. Eat 1-ingredient foods. Eat vegetables. Eat meat. Eat fish. Eat chicken. Eat pork. And call it a day.
All right, you need to come back more often, Pally. It's been too many
I'm
months.
here whenever you guys want me. Get there with your son and tell him just to write to me. I'm here all the time.
Before we go, how are you? How have you been doing?
I'm doing great. Did you know about my cancer last night?
Yeah, you mentioned it last time. That's why I wanted to check in with you.
I'm
I don't know
back
if you want to
again.
share this with the audience.
I've been talking about, I wrote a whole book famously about my cancer. So they told me my cancer would come back every 5 years, but I made it 17 years and it came back, and we knocked it back into remission. And if I make it another 17 years, I'll be 80 when it comes back. And if I die at that point, I'm good.
So what kind was it again?
I have leukemia.
Right,
And it's going to keep recurring because they can't get it out. They can just knock it back.
All right, well, hang in there. And anytime you want to be on the show, if something pops in your head, please do call in, because what you teach people a lot of really, really good things. No bullshit. It's really nice to have you on. So thank you for your time.
Thank you guys for having me, and it's always a pleasure. And have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
We'll take a break, be right back, and wrap it up right after this.
On ABC Live.
Oh, that's right. It's live. I'm sorry about that. I forgot. Let me tell you about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company. When it comes to banking, it's all about trust, and that's what you get with them. They've been around since 1998. They've always made it clear they're here to give you a better banking experience with a focus on the local community, and you won't be dealing with some AI chatbot. You'll get straight answers and quick decisions from real people that know you and your situation and are always ready to help. So, if you're tired of the big national banks, want something better, stop by and see my friends at North American Banking Company. Visit nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. All right, we're back to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. He is such a Vinny is a great guest.
Yeah, well, shortly after we came down to Florida, which was in October, we went on this program called a 130-day reset or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, where you basically didn't eat gluten.
I remember that.
It was a lot of vegetables. There was some grain, but not a lot of grain. And it was, different meats and all this stuff. Anyway, so it's basically a lower carb situation, and I ended up losing 8 pounds, which I have never been able to lose 8 pounds. I could lose 4 pounds or something at this age, and it just refused. And everybody's like, you don't have that much to lose. It doesn't matter. If you feel like you could take, you've got a weight that you've always known that you look best and feel best. Everybody's got that, I think. And I was like, I just would like to get close to that. It doesn't have to be the exact, but I'd like to lose like 10 pounds. Anyway, and it was so easy. And we were eating. You do have to cook a lot. Mm-hmm. You batch cook, and then you sort of eat the same thing for a few days. But it's 100 and whatever days. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
This is going to end, and if you hate it, you hate it. I still cook some of the recipes from that we still really, really like. I've been staying on just sort of low carb. I usually don't eat the bread. I don't eat a lot of pasta.
Right.
I've been staying away from carbs. I'm not like psychotic. Yes, I'll have a couple of chips and dip, but I'm not eating a half a bag of Doritos. All that's so you not depriving yourself if that's important to you to get crunchy things. I know crunchy things are a big deal to a lot of people. They have to have something crunchy.
Right.
And I'm kind of staying away from sugar, but I've been staying away from sugar for a long time because I feel like that just causes my hands to hurt with a lot of inflammation.
Huh.
And honestly, I've been staying at this weight, and I'm not doing anything. I'm not marathon running. I work out a little bit. I don't work out like crazy. It's not hard to do, but I feel like you do need to cook, and I do think you need to just pay attention. And that's really hard to do because we have a fast, you go to the grocery store, you buy all this stuff, you get deli food. You don't really know what's in it. You don't know what the fat content is. You don't know what they're putting in half of the food. I think if you stay away from a lot of those seed oils and all that garbage that causes so much inflammation, that you can do it. It's just you have to pay attention. And it's hard to pay attention because things that you think are healthy might not even be healthy. Mm-hmm. Like all these breads that have all this Roundup all over them. It's like, what? And chocolate. You were watching this thing about chocolate. How much lead is in supposedly
tons.
Very healthy, very high-end chocolate.
So there's lead in it.
Yeah, tons of lead in a lot of different brands.
Wonderful.
So you just have to pay attention.
All right, that is going to do it for today. Thank you for listening. I thought it was a great show. Vinny's always a really, really good guest, and I just, trying to help people out by bringing people like him on, I love it. That's absolutely wonderful to me. And we will talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.